Welcome to another edition of L&D Talk, another playoff edition, playoff prediction for the 2026 season, which is year 4 for us. As you see it on your screen now, we have the bracket. The AFC is set. There is no tiebreakers, none of that. The only tiebreaker in the NFC would be seeding, which will come from myself at the 1 seed. If I end up losing Week 18, I will be the 2 seed, and the Falcons would be the 1 seed. If the 49ers lose, and the Packers win, the Packers is in. If the 49ers lose and the Packers lose, the Buccaneers are in. If all three teams lose, I believe it's the Packers, looking at tiebreakers, but may not want to quote me on that. Then, if after that, I believe it'd be between the 6 and 7 seed, which would be Cush with the Eagles, and then whoever the 7 seed is, assuming the Eagles lose. But here we are once again, gentlemen. C-Mart coming back strong from your punishment year, and unfortunately came short because of a stacked AFC. You gonna make your little comeback next year or what?
Oh, we're gonna try. You know, the year, the punishment year, I'm feeling the effects of the punishment year this year. I finally got my roster to the the league minimum, but like I couldn't do anything beyond that, so I literally have the minimum amount of players. So it's been rough. But I have some good young guys that I got. That they have abilities. They got some potential, but they're just still young. They're like mid 70s. So if they even do get abilities, it's like recuperation and other bullshit. Like they're not getting anything worth a damn right now. So I think I still had 260s. I was running on my O line, so it was rough. It was rough. So I mean, I think all in all, we're gonna end up with like a 10-7 season, which pretty good. Not really up to my standard, but it is what it is. So we're just gonna try to get better. I think next year, depending on how the off season goes, might be in a position to make some noise. The Jets right now is kind of a juggernaut. So yeah,
What's
stuff.
crazy is there's that saying in the NFL that if you win 10 games, you're in basically. I know that's um I know that's a saying in the actual NFL, 10 games and you're in if you can win 10. But in this case, AFC says otherwise because I think
Yeah,
the
if I had 10, I'd probably be about the fourth or fifth seed in the NFC right now. And now 10 wins is gonna have me. I think I'll be at least 2 games away from the last playoff spot. I believe.
yeah, the 7
Um,
seed's going to be an 11 and 5 team.
yeah, potentially 12-5. So yeah, I'll be about 2 games behind, which is crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, we can get the NFC out of the way if y'all would like. Um,
It's pretty crazy that C-Mart will miss the miss the playoffs with 10 wins, and we have two teams, the 4 and 7 seed, that are both 8 and 8 or 7 and 8.
yeah, and we're going to have an under 500 team 100% in. Well,
Yeah,
potentially too, because if you end up losing against me, then it's an under 500 team winning a division,
yeah.
which it did happen last season in the AFC, and they ended up winning a playoff game. It was
Just
JJ's.
shows the just goes to show any given Sunday.
Yeah, so let's just get the NFC out of the way. So 2 seed versus 7 seed would be Quinn's Falcons versus either the 49ers, uh, Buccaneers, or Packers. I don't think it matters who is in that position. If it's me or Quinn, I think that me or Quinn win that game.
Yeah, I think whoever the 2 seed is beating the Niners, Bucks, or Packers.
And then we'd have 3 seed versus 6 seed, which would be, again, I'm pretty sure this is a lock. Eagles versus Giants. I'm going to look at their head to head right now.
I think they play each other this week as well.
They do, but the Giants is out of town. In their first meeting, the Giants won 33 to 27. Stat line was what killed them was looks like it was a close game that turned into 2 turnovers to 1, which at the end of the day Turnover margin is always very important, even in
Yep.
Madden. So seems like that's what got him. But on a real note, let's, as much as people dislike him and call him trash, let's give credit where credit's due. Kush started off 2-6, and he's turned it around since then, and is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's 6-2 since then. So he's turned it around. He has beaten playoff teams in this run. He beat the Jaguars. He beat the Packers, who's been a playoff team. He's beaten the Rams, who was a playoff team last season, and he just beat the Cowboys, who was in the NFC Championship last season as well. So, kudos to him for winning that, or getting himself in where he is. He did say that he'd get here, so got to give credit where credit's due.
True.
So when it comes to this, I really don't know who will win. I don't think their game's going to get played because the Giants is out of Week 18 game, so that may turn into a force win for Kush. If not, then I don't know. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this one's locked up, but I think there's a chance that Kush could beat him in the playoffs. I think this could be the dark horse upset because we haven't had we haven't had like a 6 or 7 seed out of the NFC win yet. Oh, I'm lying. Either way, I think that this is going to be the upset.
Okay. I don't see Kush winning, but I just played him without my starting quarterback, and I scored 55 points on him.
Yep, and this is where we're gonna hear put some fucking respect on my name.
Uh-huh.
What do you think, C-Mart?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Kush. I mean, I give him credit for bouncing back this season, but man, it's hard for me to trust him, bro. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think he get it done, man. And maybe he just needs that motivation from me, but I just don't know what Kush we're gonna get, and more often than not, I think he just gets to a point where he'll get his own stuff out of the game just by doing crazy shit. And playoffs, you got to kind of be locked in,
Yeah.
and more often than not, he's not locked in.
Okay. What do you think, spacing? Do you think Kush wins this, or do you think it's just going to be a 2 and 3 seed ended up in the next round?
No, I think the Giants got it 100%.
Okay.
I
So
don't think Kush.
since I mean people keep track of this, that's C-Mart and spacing saying that the Giants win. I'm saying that the Eagles win, and we're all saying the 2 seed win. The next one in this round will be another rematch. It'll be the third game between the Seahawks and the Lions.
In the playoffs.
In the playoffs, and then last season we all said that spacing would win. We all got tagged and got told to put some fucking respect on his name. So, all right, I'm gonna do it. I think Lions wins this game. I'm gonna put the respect on your name. If you've done it twice before, see if you can do it a third time.
Okay. I obviously got to bet on myself. That's what we got to do around here. But he has beaten me in the playoffs quite a few times now, so could go either way. I think I got him this year, though.
I played him this year. Our game was really weird. I did get the win, but I think we counted after the game, and I think by Madden's count, at least what they registered, he had 9 drops in the game, and I think I had 3. Yeah, legitimately 9 drops that they registered. Sometimes you have drops that they don't count. So
Yeah. I
he
don't
was
think
pretty
Madden
tough.
counts pass breakups. I think if it's a drop, it's like a legitimate, they just didn't catch the ball.
Yeah, he was pretty frustrated, and I forgot what our game ended up being. I think it was maybe 2017-10 or 20-13, something like that. But it was a close game. But his offense right now, especially because he got his quarterback, the superstar, with his receivers, it's really rough because he likes to sling the ball around anyways, and now he's able to do it. He's got nothing but speed out there. I think I looked at his receivers and they're 298 speed and maybe 197, something like that. That being said, spacing has the speed to run with those guys because I know he's got a very fast secondary too. So it should be an interesting game. But I mean, honestly, it's a toss up. But you know, I just have to go with the history this year, and I think because Lions has beaten them the last couple times, I'm going to go with the Lions. So
And
maybe
Hey, that's
space will
fair.
get the added, space will get the added motivation for me saying that. And but I don't think he needs it because I mean he's already lost them the last couple times, so I don't think he needs any extra motivation from anybody.
I also don't think that he's actually beaten the Lions this season. Have you?
I don't know. I don't. Yeah, haven't beaten him in the playoffs. I want to say I beat him once in regular season, like maybe the first or second season of this cycle. But I
Lucky
don't
him.
know. I don't know if we've played it all in the regular season besides once.
I'm looking right now as we speak. Right now, you've only beaten him once.
Yeah.
And that was a regular season game. Other than that, he's beaten you every single round you guys have played. Um,
Yep.
so all right, so we got 2-1 Lions going on. Let's just stay with the NFC because the AFC will actually be a little bit more interesting to go off of. If we were to go off of what we predicted, we're gonna go off majority rule as per usual. So since I was the only one to pick the Eagles, those two picked the Giants. We're gonna move on as if the Giants won that game. So if we go off of how seeding is now, I would be the 1 seed, so I would end up playing the Lions again. Um, I'm not gonna vote because it's my game. So Bears versus
Oh
Lions. What do
yeah.
you guys think?
I don't think that the Bears have lost to the Lions yet.
I have
So,
year
oh,
two,
okay.
week 1.
I got that stat ready. All right.
I do because it was a
I
very frustrating game. It's one of those games that Madden fucked me really hard, and it's one of those where I remember what happened.
fair enough. I'd still take the Bears. I think the Bears are in a good shot to go to the Super Bowl again and lose to the Jets. So I like the Bears.
Yeah, I got the Bears. Just because kind of similar reasons why I have the Lions over the Seahawks. I just think past historical performance could be a good predictor of future. And I
Yep.
mean, you guys play twice a year, and if we're in, what are we in, season 5 now, I think, or something like that. And if you guys have played twice a year, sometimes 3 times, and you've only lost once, doesn't mean you can't lose again. But at this point, I think teams have gotten better, gotten juiced, and I think you'll pull it out. I think it'll be a close game. I don't think you'll blow them out or anything, but I think you'll get the win.
Okay.
I agree.
So the next one would be Giants and Lions. Or no, it'd be Giants and Falcons. Sorry.
Falcons, yeah.
Uh,
Falcons got that all day.
well, I'd like to think that as well, but each time I have like really put money on Quinn, Quinn hasn't pulled it out. And I'm not trying to sit here, and I know he's probably thinking, oh, he's just trying to give me extra leverage. That's not the case. I just last year I thought Quinn would have beat. I thought he was going to beat the Cowboys convincingly, and he lost on a last-second field goal. I don't believe these two have played yet. I'm actually looking at their schedule now, or just at the years past.
Yeah.
Still, I mean, good lord, I don't think they've played it. I don't think they've played once, and the Giants beat them 33-28.
Okay.
So
So a close one.
yeah, so I do think that this is the season that the Giants will kind of surprise people because last season he took forced losses because I think he had something going on. The year prior he made the playoffs, but fatigue killed him and he ended up losing to Dez. So I do think that he can beat Quinn. It depends on the Quinn though. If it's a focused Quinn and driven Quinn who realistically is really trying to get a bowl and try to prove a point, Quinn can win. But I think that, and Quinn also gets in his head very easy. If there's an injury or something happens, he's checked out.
Yeah. I played the Giants week 14 without Sam Howell, and it was a two-score game, but it was a relatively close game up until the end. And just because I was playing with a 60 overall quarterback and it was still close makes me think that it's It's gonna be a Falcons win.
C-Mart?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Falcons. Like I said, I think I said the same thing last year. Like when Quinn's locked in, I think he's a top player. But like Spacing just mentioned previously, like if something goes against him early, like he gets in his own head and he checks out. And in the regular season, that's cool. In the playoffs, you got to find a way to kind of still stay level headed because we all know man's going to screw you over
Yep.
and some bullshit's going to go against you, and you just got to kind of brush it off and go. And just too often, like it turns into two things and three things and four things, and by that point, it's like screw it, I don't care. But once again, I'm hoping that maybe by us saying this and he hears it, that he's like, okay, I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen this year. I'm going to stay focused. But I still think he'll get it done. Also, I don't think Lions has played. I mean, not Lions. Giants has played in a while, so could be a rust factor there too. Even if he does get past his first game, still could be some rust there as well. So just some other things to consider.
Okay. So the NFC Championship would be Bears and Falcons. Again, I won't vote because it's my team. I would be playing in it, so you two can go.
I think.
Bears.
Yeah, I like the Bears for sure, and I think that I mean, the Falcons could win. I don't think it's gonna happen. That's all.
I will say this: I do think that if anyone's going to make the Super Bowl out of the NFC, that's not me. I think it would either be Seahawks or Falcons. Those are the two that I'm like, yeah, it's either going to be a really good game or, you know, I'll lose. That's just kind of how my thought process is, especially in the playoffs. Now,
Yeah.
moving on to the AFC, again, these seeds are set. There is no tiebreakers or anything like that. Everything is set. Um, actually, there's only one thing that could change, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look. I think the 6 and 7 seed could change if there's losses, but it's either way. We're gonna go off the bracket that we see in front of us. Ravens and Chiefs. I think Raw. He's gonna have Lamar. Raw is actually playing right now, so let's see let's actually see if Lamar's playing. I'm gonna pull it up. See if he has Lamar in there or not.
I'd be surprised if he didn't.
He's on defense, so I can't tell. He's up 21-7 right now. So either way, I think Raw wins this. Um, I don't think I don't know. I know JJ has a really good offense. Truthfully, I think he should have beaten the Chargers. I think what ended up happening against the Chargers though is he had an unfortunate thing happen where the Chargers tied the game or scored the tying score, and instead of kicking the extra point to tie it, he actually went for 2-1 with like 15 seconds left. So, and I also think that JJ should have won that game, but he made a few mental mistakes, being up one score and then turning the ball over instead of going up two possessions. So, it's a toss up. I think it's something that if Raw's not careful on, as in he plays lazy or if he's looking to the next round, he could lose. But I think Raw's going to be locked in. I think he'll win.
Yeah, JJ's he surprised me this year. I don't remember what his records were like in previous seasons, but he definitely had I'd probably say one of his better years this year, not his best year this season. And I mean, like you said, to your point, it could definitely something that a game he could lose or Rock could lose if he doesn't, if he's not on his P's and Q's there because he could get caught slipping. I think I played JJ this year and we got ran over. But the game got kind of out of control late. But I definitely think I like Raw to win it, but I would say I'd put him on upset alert if he doesn't take the game serious.
Yeah, I think. I mean, anytime you got Patrick Mahomes, you can win a football game, right? With that being said, Ra's a very good player. He's highly consistent. I don't see Ra losing.
And
But I mean,
they did,
Madden is Madden.
they did play earlier this year. I'm looking at it right now. Raw won 49-28. Um, see, Mahomes had 3 touchdowns, 4 picks. Raw had 6 touchdowns, 2 INTs. I mean, it looks like, just looking at the stats, it looks like JJ was able to move the ball, but turnovers probably did him in. I'm sure there are probably a couple pick sixes or something in there, but yeah, if he can avoid the turnovers, which is always kind of the if for everybody,
Yeah.
he can have a chance. But the way Rob plays defense, it's like he's really good at generating turnovers, and if you like to throw the ball, which if you have Mahomes, it's probably something you're going to do. you know,
Yep.
it could lead yourself into getting some turnovers there.
Okay, so the 3 and 6 seed would be Chargers and Bengals. You both got to play the Chargers. I have not. Um, I don't think Grody would be able to really stop him. I know that he runs a very I mean, if we're being straight, he runs a very mutt offense and
And defense.
defense. So I don't think that Grody will be able to really stop it. Grody likes to run the ball, and he runs in the way he runs his offense. You're not going to run the ball efficiently. So I do
Yeah,
think.
so yeah, I'm going Chargers. I know Grody has some mutt experience too. Um, but I played Chargers. Like, I see why he wins because if you don't have exposure to that mutt style of gameplay, like you're not gonna be able to beat it. And we played twice, and like I think my thing lagged out both times. And first time was kind of close. Second time we were kind of neck and neck, and he was pulling away late, and it lagged out again. So he ended up getting the first win. But you know, I'm not gonna go into too much detail about his offense or what he does on defense. I'm not gonna do that. But like for what he likes to run versus what I know Grody likes to run, like it's gonna be tough for Grody to stop him consistently. And if the game ends up being a shootout, that's not what Grody wants. So yeah, I like the Chargers in that just because of how he plays. And like I know Grody likes to run. Chargers defense, you know, he he runs it in a way that's designed to stop some of those run plays that Grody likes to run. So I'll just leave it at
Okay.
that.
I'm gonna go against the grain with my prediction, and I'm gonna take Grody over the Chargers. Not that the Chargers is bad, but I think Grody's got it. I think he's gonna show up this year in the playoffs.
So how do you think he's going to do it? Like what do you think the score would be, or what do you think? How do you think the game's going to go?
Well, when I played the Chargers, he made a lot of offensive mistakes. He almost lost the game because he was trying to run the score up, and I just think that Grody's got it on defense. Chargers offense is going to be. I mean, he's going to move the ball, but he's going to throw picks. And if Grody can come out and just not turn the ball over, which is kind of what Grody does because he runs all fucking day, I think he's got it.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it in a perfect storm scenario. Like I just know when I play Chargers, like Grody likes to run stretch. Like Chargers, the way he plays his defense, he specifically that shit's not gonna work.
Yeah,
Because if you go again, I'm not gonna give. I noticed a few things when I played him. I'm not gonna spill the beans on what I noticed, but there are certain things, certain formations, certain sets. You're getting certain defensive formations from him, and he'd make certain adjustments. That's like, okay, I know it's coming.
yeah,
Like all Chargers does, he's like his defense is like raw on steroids because he's all man. It's all man or it's all blitz. At least raw sprinkling some zone there. Your boy is all man, but
yeah,
he runs it in a way that he could be in a freaking pass heavy formation and he's still able to stop the run somewhat. So, you
Next
know,
EA.
I'll be interested to see that game. I mean, I still like Chargers, but if Grody's able to execute his game plan the way he wants to, which is slow the game down,
Yeah.
he could probably get it done
I
because
think it's either like Grody by a score or the Chargers by like 5. I don't
yeah,
see
I could see that
Grody
happen.
winning by a lot, but I could see the Chargers blowing him out.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I could definitely see that happening. It's either going to be a Chargers blowout or Grody in a low scoring one score game.
Yeah, just an absolute grinder.
I'm gonna be straight. So I watched Grody and Raw. I honestly think that's probably the matchup I probably watched the most because of just how back and forth their trash talk has been. So I entertain watching it. Um, in the last time they played, if I'm being straight with you, Grotti, if he doesn't make the mistakes that he did, he should have beaten him. But if his first or second read isn't there, he usually forces the ball to his first read, and that's how he ended up losing. There are so many chances where his defense picks a ball off from picks Raw off, and he can either make it a one possession or even two possession, and instead he ends up making a mistake, and he allows Raw to stay in the game. And we all know in here, Raw's a type. If you allow him to stay in, he'll eventually break through. You can't just if he gives you the opportunity, you have to pedal to the metal. Put it to his neck,
Yeah,
and
I agree.
he couldn't do
I
it,
mean,
and he ended up losing because of it.
Grody's not a passer. Like, I
No,
don't
Not
care
at
what he
all.
says. He's not a passer. He has Burrow for when and if he needs to make those throws, that he's got a competent or a great quarterback that can make those throws. That's the only reason why he's got Burrow. Because on a just a regular basis, if he has to drop back to throw 30 or 40 times to win the game, he's probably not going to win that game. Because, like you said, if his first read's not there, when I played him, I think it was like the first game of the season when I was serving my punishment. And he didn't have Burrow because he was under punishment as well. But it was literally check down, corner route to tight end, or corner route to tight end or receiver, or a deep crossing route somewhere. Those are the three reads. Like, that's what it's gonna be. So, and with how Madden is this year, I don't know what receivers that Grody has, but like with how Madden is this year, with that style of defense that like Chargers likes to run, and even Raw to a degree with the man coverage, those guys are able to run with those receivers when they probably shouldn't even be there, but they're able to get it done. Because I don't
Yeah.
know.
Oh, did we lose him?
Oh, we lost him.
Well, it sounds like we lost C-Mart. Hang on 1 second. Maybe we can get him back. Not mute. He may have gotten into a dead zone because he's on his phone. So, C-Mart, can you hear us?
What
Hey, C-Mart, can you hear us? Yeah, it sounds like he's in a dead area. So, now he's muted. Not trying to give you guys a bunch of dead air, but I also want him to be able to finish his point.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like where he was going with that. So
Oh, you didn't hear me finish my point?
No,
you,
you broke out.
yeah,
You broke up, so you may want to restart that.
What was the last point what was the last you guys heard? Because I muted after I finished.
it was like a good like 10, 15 seconds. You were talking about last year when you played him. It was all
Corner routes and
Oh,
underneath corner routes and crossers.
yeah. So I was saying it's corner routes and crossers, but like with the Chargers defense, he has man coverage. And this year, for some reason, even if the cornerbacks aren't really that great or highly rated, they're still able to run with some of those routes. And like when I played him, I had a couple times I thought I had guys open, and he was able to get underneath it and pick it off. Where I was like, how? So, I think that's a situation that might be something that Grotty runs into. But honestly, it's playoffs. I expect Grotty to run that thing as much as possible and only pass if he needs to.
Yeah,
Like,
he's not going to change anything. He's going to keep doing what got him there.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
which he should.
yeah, I mean, if you change things, I mean, we all know this. If you change how you play in a playoff game, you're usually going to end up losing. You got to do what got you there.
Yep.
Okay, so we have 2-1 on with Chargers. Noob Dini versus Jags. In this head-to-head this past season, I believe they're 1-1 against each other. Noob,
Surprisingly.
yeah. If I'm not mistaken, so Noob Dini won the first matchup 28-21. The second matchup, the Jaguars won 35-38. I don't remember if that is when the injuries happened or not, but needless to say, they're 1-1 against each other. I think, man, it's I mean, if I'm a betting man,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Noob. I think every single time, if you don't go with Noob, because of the Jags' history, he's a choke artist in the playoffs. I mean, he lost to JJ last year. That's no disrespect to JJ, but I don't think a single one of us thought JJ was going to win that game last year, and he ended up losing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going Noob all day, and I think Noob's on his farewell tour, or that's what he's told us. So I think he's going to be locked in. He probably wants to try to end things on a high note, assuming that he's truly done. I mean, he plays Jags twice a year. I don't think he wants to go out losing to Jags on top of that. So I like
Yeah.
Noob, and I think it probably gets. I think it'll be a fairly high scoring game, but I think Noob wins by like 2 or 3 scores, to be honest, because Jags is gonna get he's gonna get pass happy. And he's gonna throw his fair share of picks.
Yeah, I agree 100% on everything you just said. I think Nubdini's got it. I think the Jags comes out, throws like 4 or 5 picks. Nubdini keeps it down to maybe 1, 2 tops. And I think Nubdini beats him like 50-30.
Okay, so moving on, it would be the Jets versus Noob Dini. Last season, they played in the AFC Championship. In that game, Anthony Richards or AR, God, what's his name? I cannot believe
You got 15.
yeah, AR-15. I can't believe I forgot his name. I'm going completely blank. Anthony Richardson. That was him.
So say you said Anthony Richardson.
Well, for some reason I was thinking of somebody else.
I thought you were talking about someone else too when you said Anthony
Well,
Richardson. No, AR.
as
I was like,
in
who the fuck
as in a
else?
different player. I don't know why, but that's just where my mind went. But anyway, Anthony Richardson got hurt in the first half, and then the Jets were able to pull away then. Fast forward to this season, the Jets played the Colts, or played Noob, and Noob beat them 42-27.
Woo.
So, and Noob DM'd me because we were DMing back and forth, and he flat out said, "I stand by my statement. If Anthony Richardson doesn't get hurt, I'm in the Super Bowl last year." So
Okay.
it'd be a
So
rematch between those two, and truthfully, this is probably the one game out of all the playoffs I honestly don't know. I really don't. I don't know who would win.
really?
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
I'm biased just because I have to play against the Jets twice a year. Um, I know Noob's a really good player, and I definitely think he's capable of the upset. But I've been on record saying like I'm going to vote. I'm always going to pick the Jets until like he doesn't win, like especially coming out of the AFC.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
I think in the AFC you have either Ra or Noob that are probably the two most capable of beating them, and they're very capable of beating them. But as we've seen, and I kind of gave everybody the alert 2 seasons ago. I was like, once Zach Wilson got to X Factor, I was like, okay, he was already slinging around and doing pretty well with Zach already. Then he got to X Factor, it's like it unlocked a whole nother level. And I played him earlier this year, and this is probably where a lot of my maybe like I had a chance to beat him. Like I was down by 7, driving with a chance to get at least a tying touchdown or a go-ahead touchdown and 2-point conversion to possibly win it. But I had a lot that went my way that game. Like he had like 500 yards of offense on me compared to like I think I had maybe 225. So it's just man, like it's so tough to stop his offense. Like it's really tough, and to do it all game, yeah. Like I don't know, man. Like I have to go with. I think I'll go with the Jets on the close one, but I wouldn't be shocked if he lost. But I'm leaning Jets.
Yeah, I definitely think that this game is going to be one of the better games of the entire playoffs. Could even be better than the Super Bowl. I do like the Jets as well, just because I think the playoff Jets is a little bit better than regular season Jets. Not that Nubdini's bad or anything, but I do think the Jets is going to put it together again this season. His team is just too good. He doesn't take sacks. He moves the ball always. He's dangerous from anywhere on the field, and he's
So
just
actually, he actually does take sacks,
He does.
surprisingly.
He does.
oh, he didn't take any sacks when we played. He threw the
So
ball 70 times.
when I played him, I think I had 8 sacks against him.
Oh damn.
I'm just looking at the recap of when he played Noob in the regular season, which was week 15. He had 7 sacks, 6 turnovers. He threw 5 picks. He had a fumble. He
Wow.
still had 495 yards of offense, but he was 1-7 on third down, 0-2 on fourth down. So as compared to Noob being 3 of 8 on third down, Noob still had 372 yards of offense. He only took 1 sack. Noob had 3 turnovers. So I mean, he still lost by 15, and that was with 5 picks and a fumble. So not saying like Noob could do it, but it's also hard to beat someone twice
Yeah.
in the same season. And I know Jets is probably going to have that game circled on the if they do match up again. So yeah,
And just to throw into what you're saying that he does take sacks, yeah, I had 4 sacks against him as well, and I actually had 2 forced fumbles. I just didn't recover them. So yeah, because what he likes to do is I mean, I'll throw the blueprint out there for you. What he likes to do, he does 2 things. If nothing's open, he'll try to roll out and throw it away. If not, he likes to try to sneak up into the pocket and scramble. So a lot of his sacks come from him. There's no reads, so he'll try to sneak up into the pocket, and then like either an end or a defensive tackle will disengage and get the sack. So
yep,
that's a lot where his sacks come from. So
yeah. I think
uh,
Jalen Phillips had 3 sacks against him when I played. I think my other DN had 2, something like that, and it's mainly because they're pretty much covered sacks. Like
mhm.
his read wasn't there, and he's very good at staying in the pocket. And because a lot of guys kind of panic when the first or second read isn't there, they start to scramble out, and a lot of times that's how you get sacks that way. A lot of his are more so like I'm just staying in the pocket and I'm waiting, 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 and someone gets loose, and that's how he gets his sacks. I'm looking at it right now. He actually got sacked 65 times this year, which led the league.
Really? That is, see, when we played, he dropped back a lot, and I had no pressure all game. I had nothing. He just got to
Yeah.
do whatever he wanted to do.
I'm looking at it now. He had 65. Broncos had sack 54. Malik Willis of the Rams had 47. And everybody else was kind of like 46, 45, and then low 40s, high 30s.
Wow.
I mean, he drops back more than anybody else. So that also contributes to it. He had 675 pass attempts, which I think is like 200 more than the next person.
Jesus. Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
and he'll I mean he will also force something or he'll make a mistake. I mean he's thrown 33 interceptions, which if we're looking at the top 10 quarterbacks in passing yards, he has he's top 5 in interceptions. So now, granted, he's thrown 103 touchdowns, but he's also thrown 33 interceptions. Now, obviously, that could change, and if we're looking at it from a standpoint of like who's top 10, who's not, he's actually 11. He's 13th in the league in interceptions.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I lied. He's only like 40 more than second place for pass attempts, which is Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah,
So
that's also no surprise.
yeah, he's up there.
But
Of
so you
course.
guys went Jets. I think Noob will win this game. I think Noob has his number. Noob told me some things of what he does. What he, his little game plan against the Jets. I'm not going to expose it here. But doing what he's saying, the Jets will have to do something he's not comfortable doing, which I will not say going into detail what is. So I think Noob wins that game. I think this would be his first playoff loss, not a Super Bowl loss, but his first playoff loss this season. Next round would be Chargers versus Ravens. Um, the more I think about it, I'm gonna go Jets. I think it's dumb for me not to go Colts. I'm gonna stay
Oh,
safe. I'm gonna stay
all
safe.
right. Okay. All right.
But I know what can happen for him to lose.
Okay.
Chargers Ravens. To be
I
honest with you,
The Ravens has the defense to shut the Chargers down completely. I don't see Ra losing this game. Like, not that the Chargers isn't a good user, I just don't think that he can keep up with Ra.
Yeah, I'm not as confident in my declaration. I still think Rock could win, but again, due to due to Charger style of play, like he can get busy. Like
mm-hmm.
I don't think even Raw's defense will lock him up. I think I could see it being a shootout, but I think Raw probably wins the game in a shootout, but I don't think like it's gonna be like a blowout.
I think this
I
game
don't.
comes
Yeah, I
down.
don't think it'll be a blowout, but I would be surprised, truthfully, if Ra lost.
I think it
I
comes
don't.
down to who turns the ball over less because the Chargers will turn the ball over. So will Raw.
Yes.
So I mean, I think it just depends on who turns the ball over less. I haven't played the Chargers. I've only watched them. So going off of that, I do think that Raw could beat them. But I think that man,
I actually think that only reason why another reason why I'm leaning towards Raw is because Jonathan Taylor. Like Raw actually run the ball and
Yeah.
he's comfortable. Like Raw can pass the ball, but he's perfectly comfortable in a playoff setting saying, "Hey, I'll run the ball for 250 yards and I'll just pass if I need to." And and we all know JT is a freaking cheat code on the game this year. So I could definitely see a situation where it's like Raw's going into that game. It's like, okay, if this game ends up being a shootout, it's going to be because Jonathan Taylor runs for 200, probably catches 100, gets 150 receiving yards. Whereas I think Chargers prefers to throw the ball. Like
Yeah.
that's pretty much his game. He likes to just air it out, and he utilizes his running back in the passing game too, but he doesn't really run the ball as much or as effectively as Raw does.
yeah, the only time he really runs the ball is that little jet sweep, that little glitchy jet sweep that he does. Chargers.
So for the record, C-Mart, you're going with the Ravens over the Chargers?
Yes, I'm going Ravens.
Okay.
I'll go with you on that because one thing I will commend Raw on is he's very good at making adjustments. Like once he realizes, okay, this is what you do, he's actually very good at making the adjustments. You can't when you play Raw, you can't play, okay, well, this is working for the first. I mean, we'll just go into how regular football works. This is working in the first half, so I'm going to continue doing it. No, he'll he'll expose not expose you, but he'll make the adjustments and make you have to change things up. You have to keep him guessing. And from what I've
Yeah,
seen
he's
with
not. Yeah, he's not stubborn in his defense or his offense. Like he will, if the shit's not working on either side of the ball, he'll make the changes to do that. I haven't played the Chargers enough or watched them enough. I just the one time that I played him, he just strikes me as like I'm gonna live and die by. This is what I do, and I'm gonna live and die by it. And it is what it is. So maybe he adjusts, and maybe he just hasn't found a situation or a game where he's been forced to adjust. But I've seen Rod do it. I know he's capable of it, and he's the type of guy that even if he falls behind, he's made many a comeback just because he has adjusted. So that's just kind of like I don't think. And he to Spacing's point, he does have a really good squad where it's like he can make the adjustments and it'll work. It's not like say my team or someone else's team where it's like there's some clear and obvious holes that you can attack. Like his
Yeah.
team's pretty loaded, especially on defense. And like he has, if someone wants to spam streak routes, he's got the defense to do that. You know, if someone wants to, attack the run game, he's got the defense to do that. Like he's got everything there where, he's got those ability guys there too. So like, those knockouts and all that stuff, they become important.
Like the nicest we've ever talked about Raw. Good job, guys.
Okay, so moving on into the AFC Championship, we'd have another. I think this would be the third installment of Jets versus Ravens. Um, the first go around, the Jets didn't win convincingly. It was close, but it wasn't one of those where Raw had the lead and then gave it up. The second go around, the Raw actually had a two-score lead, ended up losing to the Jets. They did play earlier this season, and where the Jets actually, let me pull up that stat line. Well, I had it up, but we started looking at sacks, so I pulled that up. The Jets ended up winning. They just played 43-20. I think the Jets will
Well,
end up back in the Super Bowl.
yeah, I think the Jets. I mean, it's kind of until he proves us wrong. He's gonna get the benefit of the doubt in all of these matchups.
Yeah. And also just because of like styles of play. And like I know Raw will play some zone, but he's pretty much man dependent. And if the Chargers were to win, I know he's all man dependent. And like Zach Wilson with that crew of wide receivers, tight end, even his running back is a threat out the backfield to catch the ball. Like I think man coverage guys are going to get ate up. So unless your pass rush is getting in there, and he's the type of guy that a sack doesn't phase him. You see what I'm saying? Like some other guys, if they get put in second or third and long, that's out of their comfort zone, and they're not really able to overcome that. Like he can get sacked and just be like, "Yeah, I'm still good." You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and I believe he's got hot route master on Zach Wilson too. So it's that's like what you need for guys that are man heavy, and I think like someone like Raw, like he'd have to like kind of get out. To his point, he's good at adjusting. So I feel like a good mix of man versus zone is what it'll take to beat the Jets because going heavy one way or the other, he's going to pick it apart.
Yeah.
So I'm going Jets. Like I said, until proven otherwise, I like him to get it done.
Yeah, and so that would mean it's another Bears versus Jets Super Bowl. We won't get predictions because I mean I think everybody here, including myself, would think that the Jets would probably win it until proven otherwise again.
Hey,
Um,
all that guy does is win. Look out.
well, I mean, any takeaways from this season? Any takeaways from the playoffs before we end it?
I think the AFC is definitely a lot more exciting than the NFC.
Which is
'Cause I,
surprising. I thought it was very evened out when Madden started.
yeah,
I guess for me, just as a final, I guess note for the pod, it's like I enjoy LND. I don't enjoy Madden, but I enjoy LND. And this past year, like some of the joy was taken away, like the overall complaining, and it's like, guys, let's kind of remember why we're playing. It's just a video game. Yes, we have rules. Not that we really wanted to, but over time, some of the things force us to institute the rules. But like we got to chill with all the whining and complaining. Like seriously. That being
yeah,
said, like if you see someone breaking the rule or whatever, I mean, you don't have to publicly put them on blast. That's why commissioners there provide the proof, and we will institute consequences if need be. But like a lot of the passive aggressive, like they're doing this, they're doing that, but like there's no proof. I've seen it, but I'm not gonna say anything. It's like, bro, let's just play the game. That being said, there are rules. Some of you guys got to stop towing the line. Like we're at the point now where it's like some people are being more of a headache being in the league than it's worth because it's like you're kind of constantly towing the line. Like at the end of the day, it's just a video game. Like
Yeah.
it's that serious. So I mean, we're in February. I mean, I don't know how many more season L&D is gonna have. Maybe two, maybe three. Who knows? But like, let's try to make these last whatever is left of this year enjoyable because the game itself is trash, and we don't need like the extra shit on top of it piling on. Like, it doesn't make it enjoyable.
Yeah, and I may
Yeah.
not be able to speak for everybody as a commissioner, but it's we don't enjoy giving out punishments. It's not like we sit here and enjoy trying to police or even think of punishments. I mean, every single time something happens and we're in the commissioner chest, hey, this happened. It literally most of the time it's really like, okay, well, what do we have to do? I mean, we don't enjoy it. And then when we
There's many times where we've delayed putting the punishment on there because we're like, bro, we don't really want to do that. But then we get, hey, you guys got rules. You're not putting the punishments on there. What's going on? And then when we do put a punishment in there, it's like, damn, that's the punishment. Like, why is it so harsh? What did they do? It's like, bro, what do you want? Like, we're damned if we do and damned if we don't. At the end of the day, it's like, man, I don't want to have you lose your best players. In the regular season, I guess that's something, but like in the playoffs, we'd like for everyone to be full strength. If they're not full strength, it's because of injury, not because of some punishment.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, bro, just play the game. Unless it's something egregious, we're all competitive. We hate losing, but there's a lot of crybaby shit that goes on. It's like, bro, just like if you lost, if you weren't gonna complain about it if you won, like don't complain about it when you lose. Like that's kind of my take on it. Like I need the energy to be the same. And at the end of the day, it's like, man, I like LND. I don't like Madden. I don't have to be here. Like it's nothing for me to be like, hey, you guys take it. But
yeah.
I like the chat. A lot of us have been in there many years now, like probably 4 or 5 years deep at least. And that's the reason why I still play. Of course I want to win, but I mean I'm not really trying to like leave guys high and dry. I like the league. So let's just try to do a little better. Like it's fucking February, almost March. Like there's no need for it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you hit every point. I think the biggest thing that is the most annoying for us all is when someone plays the oh, I know so and so's doing this, and but if they were to lose, they'd be all over it like, oh yeah, they're breaking the rules. Like, oh okay, it wasn't a problem when you were winning, but it's a problem now. Um, and I think you hit it all. I mean, it's been a bad year for complaining, but only up from here, I guess.
Yeah, you both kind of touched on this, and I just want to reiterate, like, if people see someone breaking the rules, like, say something. Don't wait 3 weeks, and then when someone else says something, all of a sudden you're in chat, you know, piling on. If you're gonna say something, say it when it happens. Some
Yeah,
guys like to sit on that for too long.
people also play the oh he's a snitch this, he's snitched that, and sometimes it's best for the league when people actually say something about it. I mean, it really is, especially if someone's breaking it every single week. Maybe that person doesn't know the rules. So I mean, when you sit here and hold it until you end up losing or until something finally happens, it's like, oh yeah, he's been doing that for 3 seasons. Like, well, this could have been corrected a long time ago, and then now we're
Yeah.
hearing, oh, he's been doing it for 3 seasons. You should do this. You should do that. So, well, I mean, we never got told.
Yep. And some guys are consistent. Stuff happens, they're in the DMs, they're talking about it. And some guys, until it's brought up, all of a sudden now they're an expert on the topic. But 2 minutes ago, when everybody was silent, they didn't have anything to say.
I mean, my biggest thing this year was like I did get complaints from several people that normally don't complain. That's when I was like, okay, some of the stuff you guys are doing or the rule breaking or kind of towing the line. I'm like, all right, it's kind of getting out of control because like these are guys that normally don't say anything, and they're
Yeah.
like, hey, bro, like he's breaking this rule, he's breaking that rule. It's like, I mean, we're kind of at a crossroads here. Where it's like, hey, the league wants to have 32 users. That's what we always get told, man. Nobody wants to have CPU teams. We want to have 32 users. But then we have 32 users, but then we have a handful of guys that are not playing. They're just handing out force wins like candy. You have other guys that are close to breaking rules, and it's like, hey, like, what do you want us to do? Because as soon as we boot someone, it's like, hey, why'd you boot them? And now someone that we're booting is like, hey, they play the games. Perfect example, or one example is like Emango. That's our boy. They're wanting us to boot Emango because he's getting the score run up on him. My man plays his games. I know it's not ideal that, he's basically a stat game for some people, but it's like, dude, it's very rare to find guys like him that still get their ass kicked and still play their games.
Yeah.
You have other
100%.
guys that lose. You have other guys that lose one game, and because Madden screwed them over, they're like, "I'm done,"
Yep.
or "I'll play, but I'm not gonna take it serious." So it's like I don't know what some of the guys want us to do, because if we start booting guys because they're getting the score run up or they're not taking the game seriously, we're gonna end up having 20 guys in the league and there's 12 CPU teams, and then guys are gonna be like, "Hey, I can't get to play my games because I have two CPU opponents in my division, and we can't play CPU games." So it's a fine line, and it's like, man, just I mean, in a perfect world, everyone would just play their games, they adhere to the rules, and it's fine and dandy. But obviously, that's not reality. But it's like everyone always has an answer in the chat, but then no one wants to be like, hey, I'll be a commissioner. Oh, no, 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 I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a commissioner, but yeah, you guys should do this.
Yeah, I think I've said it many times. It's always complaints, never suggestions.
It's easy to complain when all you do is load up and play. I've said that so many times over the years. It's like when all you do is just load up and play, it's easy. Like when you
Yeah.
have to deal with some of the shit we get in there and spacing and speak to it, and maybe you can speak to it a bit too, since you guys become commissioners, and see like what we had to deal with on the back end versus when you guys were regular users. It's like, bro, that's a lot of shit. And honestly, I've taken a step back, and I think Carter is kind of more or less kind of he's been the one that's been like, hey, okay, someone's getting a complaint, they're going to him, or he's responding in the chat to something. If I got the time or if I feel like entertaining it, sometimes I'll do it. But a lot of times I'm like, bro, like I'm not entertaining this, like, because I can't do anything about it. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's like it's not my league. If you're gonna tell me something, I'm gonna go back to the commissioners. We're gonna try to make a group decision, and then when we do make a group decision, it gets criticized. It's like, bro, this is a free league. This is something we do as a hobby. Like it
Yeah.
shouldn't require as much effort and like scrutiny that it gets.
Yeah,
But
100%.
other than all that, everybody's doing great. You know, every, everybody's having fun.
Yeah, I was. I mean, you kind of were gonna do what I was gonna say is, to end on a bright note. I do commend everybody for playing. I mean, they're up until really the last few weeks of the season, really hasn't been a lot of forced wins. I think we had 3 straight weeks where there was 24-hour advances. Everybody playing their game on, in 24 hours, which I really couldn't tell you the last time that was done. And to be doing that in year 4 in January and February, that's impressive. So hopefully, that same energy happens. I know things will start to slow down, especially since, spring's here, the football season is over. Um, NCAA is right around the corner. We'll be straight with you. We've discussed it. I mean, I think really May is going to be our kind of our end goal is end in May type of deal. If everybody's being honest with each other because of NCAA. So, I mean, see if we can keep that same energy. Everybody quit trying to burn out C-Mart if you want them to be around next season. Don't burn them out.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's really in their control, but yeah, that's fine. I'll take that too. But
Hey,
yeah,
just as well as I do. There's nothing more annoying is you're at work and then you'll look at your phone and you say notifications, or you'll look and you're like 78 messages. Oh Lord, here we go.
Yep.
yeah. And for me, it's just like I don't know. It's not going to be sustainable for me to be in the Madden leagues that I'm in now, and then if I'm in several NCAA leagues next year, so someone's gonna have to get the axe. I've been probably saying that I probably will. I've been waffling back and forth, but I may at least keep LND as a Madden league. Some of my PS5 leagues may be the ones that get cut, but like I'm definitely going to be way more NCAA than Madden next year. Like if it's just halfway decent, like I'll be playing that just
Yeah.
because like it's something different. And Madden the last couple years has been just a downward trajectory. Like this year is supposed to be a make or break year according to EA, and it's like this shit is not fun at all. It's a bad game. Literally, most of us have all been saying we're only playing it because of the other guys in the league, and it's kind of like we've been doing this for so many years, so it's just routine. But like, I don't know anyone that actually like enjoys the game and says, "Hey, this is a great game." Like, it's not.
Yeah, and if it wasn't the only option, I think everyone would have switched. If there was a different football game, people would be
Yeah,
playing that because of how Madden is.
yeah, because it's like, bro, it's you're kind of forced into it. And it's like the alternative is not playing, and most guys are just like, man, I know Madden's bad, but I still need to scratch that itch, that football itch. So,
Yep.
but I'll be mainly college next year. But if I do happen to play Madden in any capacity, like L&D will definitely make the cut though. So
I will say this: I don't think this game's as bad as last year's, but it is still really bad. But that's a whole nother topic of a discussion.
yeah, I mean last year was
Oh man, don't get me started on
Oh my
dealing with.
god. All right, good podcast, guys.
yeah
Thanks for listening,
yeah we're not gonna do
everyone.
that. Yeah, we're not going on that. So,
All right, peace out, guys.
All
all
right,
right,
see ya.
guys.